Welcome to The Pink Room. It's a show all about women's college basketball. We highlight the week's best stories, hot topics, all the while having a little bit of fun. I'm Roz gold-onwude, and I'm alongside Kevin Dana. And KD, what do we have to look forward to today?
All right, well today, Roz, we begin our top 15 countdown of the AP Top 25 teams as of December 5th. Today, we do 15 through 11. We're going to count them down for you. That's countdown. But first, before we do that, Roz, I'm going to tell you a little bit about how you can stop Brittney Griner. Roz, how do you do such a thing?
So, you want to stop Brittney Griner. Maybe it was after she had 32 and 14 against Notre Dame, or when she had 26, 6 and 7 against Tennessee. You might have wondered, how do you stop this girl? Well, let's consider a couple of options. One option is one-on-one. If you're brave enough to assign the task of guarding Brittney Griner to one person, well, that's interesting, but it is an option. And so what you have to do is locate Brittney Griner as soon as she crosses half court. So once you find her, the next step is you must do your work early. As soon as she gets inside the three-point line, you have to meet and greet her and keep her outside of the paint because you prefer her mid-range jump shot or her face-up game, putting it on the floor, a lot more than you want her layup or turnaround jump shot on the block. Another option, to double and sag. Most people will double Brittney Griner. So now the question is, where is the double coming from? Do you double big or do you double small? If you decide to throw size at Brittney Griner, that means the double's probably going to come off of Destiny Williams, who's averaging 8 rebounds per game. So you need to get someone from the guard side to rotate down quick enough and make sure to box her out and keep her off the glass. That might present a problem. So you might have to double small. But you can't double off of Odyssey Sims because she shoots a good percentage from the three-point line. So you got to stay on her. But the other guards, the 2 and the 3, they don't shoot the 3 ball enough to really call it a threat. So you might have an option there. Another option, front and pressure. Literally, you are going to stand in front of Brittney Griner and deny her the ball that way. But you might be asking, well, what about the lob pass over to Brittney Griner? Well, it's going to take two things. First, the defender on this other post on this side has to be aware of help side defense so they can disrupt the lob pass if it does come in. The next part is that perimeter defenders need to be pressuring so much. They need to literally be on top of these offensive guards, disrupting them, causing deflections, messing up those good angles and the timing it needs to make that good lob pass in. The next option, aggressive offense and crashing the O boards. Shot blockers like Brittney Griner, they like to swat at shots. So if you're attacking the basket and Brittney Griner is swatting away, there's a chance for fouls. Take that one step further. Crash the boards. Offensive rebounds typically mean that there are defenders inside the paint that are out of position and likely to foul. If you can get Brittney Griner her first, dare I say her second foul early in the first half, you've changed the complete complexion of the game. The final option for stopping Brittney Griner is aliens. Now that might sound ridiculous to some of you out there, but it's probably just as likely to succeed as guarding her one-on-one. In fact, probably more likely to succeed. Because if aliens did come to Baylor and they were looking to abduct someone, they'd probably take the 6'8" kid.
All right, thanks for that, Roz. Let's start with our top 15 countdown with the number 15, Louisville Cardinals, 7-2 on the season, led by head coach Jeff Walz. Has already taken them to their first ever Final Four back in 2009. This year, he has a couple of McDonald's All-Americans who are freshmen, but it really starts with Monique Reed, their leading scorer off the bench, 16 points per contest. Has that put the team on your back, though, kind of Greg Jennings attitude. I really like what she does. And then also Sony Schimmel, the way she has composure with the rock. Yeah, I love her too.
Big favorite.
Yeah, putting the ball behind her back, great handles for her as well. As a team, though, they got to shore up the turnovers. 26 turnovers in their loss against Kentucky. Now, Kentucky will make you turn the ball over better than anybody in the country. But still, you can't be turning the ball over like that when you play a UConn, Notre Dame, and Rutgers in conference play. So let's go to number 14 now, and that would be the Lady Bulldogs of Georgia out of the SEC. Legendary coach Andy Landers coming up on 800 wins. He needs about 20 more. He could get that this year if all goes well, and especially if both of his Jasmines play well. I'm talking about Jasmine James, the point guard, averaging 4.5 assists per contest. A great passer and a great finisher in traffic too. Really love the way she plays that point guard position. And then Jasmine Hassel down low. A nice post defender that really knows how to use her hands, go up and contest shots, and then get the rebounds, and has very quick feet for her size. Defensively as a team, I think they really need to do a better job of defending the three. Georgetown, their lone loss of the season, the Hoyas, were 8 of 17 from beyond the arc against the Lady Bulldogs. And when you go up against teams like Tennessee and Kentucky in conference, that's just not going to cut it. And before we move on from Georgia, Ross, let's give a shout out to my boy Travis Mays, the assistant coach for Andy Landers, rocking a bow tie. So when you fill out your ESPN coaches bracket, fashion bracket, keep him in mind.
Will do. I'll keep an eye out for him.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a look at the number 13 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes. They're led by head coach Jim Foster. He's heading into his 10th season, and he and his team are proving a lot of those Big Ten preseason voters wrong. They weren't even picked to finish in the top 3 in their conference.
What?
Now they're at the top of the conference. They're number 13 in the nation. They're 7-0, and they're coming off of 3 huge back-to-back-to-back wins over LSU, Florida State, and Oklahoma. They lost Jontel Lavender last year, 3-time All-American in the post, but now this year's team, they're much more guard-oriented. And you really have to start with the lone senior, Samantha Perhalis, at the point guard. She's averaging 18 points per game, but probably the most important stat is she's averaging 7 assists per game. And one of the big storylines, too, is that how much she's matured. She's also making better decisions with the ball. And now she's leading by a positive example, and it's leading to camaraderie for the team, something that wasn't necessarily the case last year, and now that's translating to wins. She's also got some help in the backcourt. Taylor Hill, averaging 23 points per game.
What?
Yes, but bigger than all of that, she is Miss Second Half. When the big lights are on, big stage, she wants to rock. Second half, big games against LSU, 19 of her 23 points, second half. Against Florida State, 20 of her career-high 31 points, second half. She can get to the rim, but you can't sag off because she's the team's best three-point shooter, 40%. And this team, they've got a big marquee matchup coming up. They're traveling all the way out to the West Coast. They're going to play the best coast. I'm from New York. I don't believe in all that. But they will be coming to the West Coast, and they'll be playing the California Bears December 17th.
Oh, let's talk about another Big Ten team, Ross. Number 12, the Purdue Boilermakers, coming off a huge win against Texas A&M, the defending national champions. And in that game, they really did a better job of rebounding the basketball, something that was a big bugaboo against Duke in their loss in Durham, North Carolina, as they gave up more than 20 offensive rebounds in that Duke loss. But they did a much better job defending overall against Texas A&M, holding the Aggies to, get this, 17% shooting from the floor in the second half. So yeah, I mean, not a good look for Texas A&M in that second half, but you really got to credit the Purdue defense doing a great job down low. And they got some shooters on the outside. Let's talk about leading scorer Brittney Rayburn, 15 points per contest. Please, Ross, if you ever guard her, don't leave her open from beyond the arc. I mean, she can drain it. So also Courtney Moses really put that team in a position to win in that second half as well. And a big game coming up for them against Notre Dame this weekend on my birthday. So we definitely want to check that one out.
For sure. Now let's check out the number 11 team in the nation, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, led by head coach C. Vivian Stringer in her 17th season. She and her team were picked to finish 4th in the Big East. Right now, they are 8-1 as of today. They just had their first loss today. But before that, that 8-0 start was the best start since the 2005-2006 season. They're led by a big three, and that starts with April Sykes. She's a guard that's got a lot of size advantage against other smaller guards, and also she loves to shoot the rock. She leads the team in scoring. But she's got some help in the backcourt. Another senior guard, Khadijah Rushton. She's a big, strong guard, and she's really deliberate and skillful when she gets inside the paint. So she penetrates and she can get a lot of options for assists and passes. And she will try to body you for the basket. She finishes around the rim. and she leads their team in assists. They've also got some help inside the paint with Monique Oliver. She's averaging almost 12 points per game, 7 rebounds, and she's not even really that big, about 6'2". But the entire Rutgers team isn't that big, and they also don't really shoot the three that much at all. So you might be wondering, how are they finding success in winning?
How are they, Ross? 2
ways. Defense, and they crash the boards. Between Sykes, Oliver, and Rushton alone, the 3 of them have 40% of their rebounds are offensive rebounds, which means they're getting a lot of second chance points and layups off of boards. Okay, so check this out. Rutgers faces their first ever ranked opponent tonight, number 9 Miami, and unfortunately they took their first L of the season. They had a 16-point lead in the second half and let it slip away. Monique Oliver, April Sykes had double-doubles. Khadijah Rushton, Nikki Speed fouled out in the second half. They have last-second layups to take them from regulation to overtime, and then from overtime to double overtime. But in the second one, Raquana Bebe Williams,
Bebe,
took over. 16 of her career-high 36 points in overtime, and she hands Rutgers their first loss and ends their win streak. But Rutgers still has a lot to look forward to. They got a lot of great teams to play against in the Big East, and a big marquee matchup coming up December 13th versus SEC perennial power, Tennessee.
All right, well, that will do it for 15 through 11. Our next episode, we're going to be talking 10 through 6 as we work our way through the top 15. You can check us out on Twitter at Rosgo21, at Kevo408, and please, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can hit up the Pink Room Twitter at PinkRoomWBB. That'll be all for now. See you later, folks.